Hello, dear friends, welcome. And in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about the potholes that we can kind of fall in if we decide to turn recovery into a similar version of what we did to try to diet, manage emotions with dieting, the merry-go-round of restricting and deprivation-driven eating, all those kind of things that we end up in. So I want to say though that it's almost to be expected that there is a huge learning curve to understanding how to heal from any kind of disordered eating, all of them essentially, whatever the root cause, however we got here, whatever kind we have. Then thinking that like doing something highly controlled and rigid and structured, just like a diet, is going to fix the physical, mental, emotional, attachment, dissociative, all the issues that go along with restricting, binging, purging, hating your body, health anxiety, being afraid of certain foods in all kinds of ways. Because most of the time these things are rooted in intolerable beliefs and conflicts and, again, basic need kind of stuff, not just oxygen, water, shelter, sleep, and food kind of issues. Maybe there's some piece to that, but most of the time, our issues with food and body image and health. Well, it's usually when we're having trouble doing the things we need to do, and it doesn't run our lives. It is rooted in certain needs not getting met, and feeling loved and relationally safe and having agency and feeling like we have a right to exist kind of stuff. And so if you're trying to do recovery only from a behavioral and cognitive perspective, even though those factors are very important, those top-down approaches are super important. Everyone with eating disorder who are involved in it professionally, we know that that's all really important. We have to renew our mind. We have to kind of set up our day to be pro-recovery. It can't just be like, I'll recover as I overwork, and I'll recover as like I'm saying yes to too many things, and I'll recover when it doesn't really work that way. We've got to set up a life that is conducive to healing. So all that stuff's really important. And you can see how some of the tactics of going on a diet, like you get really excited, you buy all the paraphernalia, you buy the books, you follow the gurus, maybe you get accountability, the stuff you might do on a diet, or changing, health improvement journey kind of stuff. You might try to apply those same kind of things to your recovery, but the problem is they don't fit all the factors. And so there are going to be things dangling and hanging in the wind that you can get by with not dealing with for a while, but eventually, whether it's week 6 or month 6 of your recovery, you feel like the wheels are falling off because you're doing new behaviors, but internally we haven't listened to any of the parts inside that are feeling a lot of maybe distress about that or aren't in agreement with it. And if you don't deal with that, that's where you see lots of relapses. So it's really important to not look at your recovery as a formula, do A, B, C, and you're fixed, or just, stop thinking about the food so much and your weight is stable, whatever that means, and your binging is stable or restricting is stable, whatever all that stuff looks like and means to you, and think that the attachment ruptures and the drama and just general dissociation and dysregulation that kind of comes with disordered eating, if none of that's addressed as you're making the physical changes, you're going to think you're doing something wrong. And it's super common. It's super common to be very excited about finding somebody that you are a great match with, and you're doing some of the work, and you're actually doing things pretty well, like setting up your life, slowing down, listening more, giving more permission to eat, working your way through, dismantling the diet culture stuff, part of your brain. And some other part of you is just terrified of either the happening weight gain or the potential weight gain. And then you find yourself at midnight, using AI and Chat GPT to, fix the distress. And I want to share with you that it can be anticipated that you're going to need to find the appropriate support and work through some of our, when I say I mean me, I had to do the same process of like, there may be parts of me that were in denial about the fact that the whys I had the eating disorder. There may be parts of me that don't want to like see things for what they really are, or people for who they really are. Or there may be a lot of grieving to do, and you spent your whole life avoiding that. So that's all to be expected, and I can't really be taken care of by just a simple meal plan or just reading the intuitive eating book. There's a lot that goes on. So I'm saying all this just so those of you who are new to this process understand that it's not just about stopping dieting and maybe giving yourself full permission to eat and in hopes that the binging will stop. It's one of those things that like, yeah, that's all important. And there's more to it. So I don't want you to think that when you have all the information and even have it really nuanced down, like, the work that I know we do is very nuanced and very contextual, and sometimes there's 10 things that need to get done, but we have to look at what's the most important thing right in front of us and then go to the next thing and the next thing, and really we want stability. We want stability and growing capacity and growing self-compassion and growing ability to be a compassionate, curious witness to what's happening inside you with the food beliefs, the body stuff, the health anxiety, whatever it is. Because if you're making decisions from parts of you that have a lot of distress, and you'll be surprised when you just ask inside, like, what some part of you thinks about what it is you're doing. You might be surprised by like some of the answers you hear, some of the denial you hear. And remember, it's not coming from a here now adult version of you, possibly. The parts of us that had to go through a lot of really incomprehensible things have that brain thinking capacity at that age. So we're not going to necessarily hear a really rational thing. So again, don't judge it. Let's just befriend this and figure out what's going on here. So, and that's something that a meal plan can't tell you, or necessarily a book can't walk you through. The book can talk you about the whys of things and maybe even how it works, but the actual experiential of it is where we need just a lot of acceptance of like, wow, this whole eating disorder, chronic dieting, wanting quick fixes with my health kind of stuff. It's pretty dissociative. I think I need to work on the reason for the dissociation, because I want to make decisions out of my my values, my here now adult values, and that's where we want to help people get to each and every session, and that helps the process be less like this. And more, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be like this, but it doesn't have to be so wild, like wild ups and downs, possibly. If we're doing, things at a pace that only go as fast as the slowest parts can go. All right. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this brings some understanding to the process a little bit of recovery, whether it's making food changes. Again, I come from I'm looking at the food and body image angle of things. That's kind of where my bubble is. And the nervous system health regulation and how that's impacting your eating, your digestion, your health, all that. What parts have different agendas. And if we don't kind of get everybody in agreement, basically, you're going to see bigger swings, okay? So we want to build stability versus doing too much too fast and trying to follow, really apply like old school, just follow things perfectly and bulldoze forward. You might find that there's a crash, and we don't want that. So, all right. Hope that was helpful. Hope it makes sense. If you have questions about this process or topic, please let me know. You can reach out at the link below and we can chat about it. So thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.